I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri. For more information on how to pay delinquent property taxes, visit our website, treasurer.waynecounty.com, or call us at 313-224-59.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? I am so excited to be here. Hi! It's been a long time. It's been a whole week. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are doing well. I hope you all are taking care of yourselves. It is Lady Love. Lady Love is in the building, and you are watching Courageous Detroit Network presents Small Spaces in the Living Room with Lady Love. I am honored on this day. And you know what? I want to start off with a special quote today. It is all about taking care of yourself. Take care and be well. Not just for the world, because we always want to do everything for everyone else, but you must take care of yourself first so that you can be able to do the things that you love to do. One thing that I realized, this month is Mental Health Awareness Month, the month of May. So specializing in taking care of yourself. So specialize in specializing taking care of yourself. What does that mean? Be a specialist and an advocate for you. And if you don't have anyone to be an advocate for you, you need to learn how to be an advocate for yourself. And I know you say, what do you mean by that? Look at the surroundings, look at what you're dealing with, look at the situations that you're in. And then you know what? Take note. And when you take note and you record what's happening in and around you, you become a specialist, specializing in taking care of you. That's all that I have for that moment. That is the power hour. Because I want everybody to be well. So today is a special day today. Today is May 15th, 2025, and I have one of the most prestigious, one of the most elite pillars in Detroit next to me. And I say these words because I have begun to know this gentleman, and I met him through a gentleman of mine, my fair fellow, Mr. Al Bracey. I met him through Al, but then I found out that this man knew my whole lineage. He knew me before I knew me. And, you know, we had kindred spirits when we met. And instantly, when I came into his world, he accepted me, and I'm very grateful for that. Ladies and gentlemen, I have beside me the owner of Courageous Detroit Network and so much more. He is over so many processes. He has led so many people. He has overcame so many things. And today we're here to talk about just a little bit of it. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, I speak before you. I can't speak for this gentleman, but he will speak for himself. Mr. Keith Williams.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here tonight. And being interviewed by LadyLove and a wonderful second partner, Al Bracey, and Wendy Dorsey is the brains behind Courageous Detroit Radio, yes. And a guy named Juan Johnson, who I'll never forget this. I was sitting in that room. I had a board, I had some stuff, and I owned the building next door, and I was trying to do radio and podcasting some years ago, and I could never get it going until Juan came in here and showed me. We got a little antenna up at the top of the building. It can only go as far as to Schoolcraft, but it was a start. And look where we are today. We got everything that we need to present a good package out here in the marketplace. We can compete. You know, the traditional 2, 4, and 7 is for folks of yesteryears. We in the forward-thinking market now, with streaming and crazy TV and all this other stuff, and so we have to get with the marketplace. But it's enjoying to be with you tonight. Come from a wonderful family that tell us this. Went to school with both your mother and uncle.
Yeah.
And we all started at Fitzgerald where Stevie Wonder went, and it's just from a historical standpoint, I lived a Homer, and I walked to Fitzgerald every day until the 3rd grade. When I was in kindergarten, my father dropped me off, but when I got to the 3rd grade, it was part of cross-district busing. And I went from Fitzgerald to McKinney on Burt Road and 7 Mile, all-white school, and then from there I matriculated from McKinney to Metatah to Henry Ford. My trajectory should have been Fitzgerald, Post, Cooley, Central, Muffin. And so, but God worked it out where He took me in another trajectory and just enhanced my life, and that's where I'm at today. And I just want to thank you for letting me tell my story. But my story is not unique because everybody's story is my story. And so we all struggle and we all going through some stuff, but at the end of the day, God knows best.
Yeah, at the end of the day, God knows best. And I'm honored to hear that you have traveled a road. And everybody's road is not the same, but it may feel the same.
Right.
Okay? I want you to tell us how you got from Henry Ford. Let's start at Henry Ford. From Henry Ford to now. Give me a brief yet fulfilling point of view of where you started at Henry Ford to now.
Well, you know, and I gave you from elementary, Metatah, and those experiences were unique in itself because at Metatah, I went to school with kids that father was lawyers, doctors, and prominent people came from Russellwood, Sherwood Forest, University District kids, okay? And my family was working class, mother did day work, and went over there by Curtis and 6 Mile Muffin. It was a big Jewish conclave.
Yes.
And so that in itself was an experience, but when I got to Metatah, I had to readjust to that lifestyle because I wasn't used to that lifestyle. A young lady I know I went to school had a white piano in the living in the dining room. I never saw a white piano. Okay.
Wow, right.
Yeah, so
a black piano.
I had never saw a black piano until I went to church. But
he said until he went to church.
Yeah, okay.
Let's go to church.
Yeah, but I saw all of that.
Yeah.
But when I got to Henry Ford, after experiencing the Metatah experience, my first day in school, the first week of school, we had a race riot. Ask your mother about the race riot. The race riot was my indoctrination to white America.
Wow.
And I always heard about it. I always saw it on TV with Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Movement. But what I saw, I experienced it for myself.
Wow. So were you afraid when you went through the race riot? Like, what happened? Walk us through that.
Well, you know, it was an experience that I never saw before. But my father had a saying, nobody's better than you. When I was growing up, that's all the kids knew in the neighborhood. My father was a baseball coach. He was a mentor. Until the day he died, he was on dialysis, he had a park, Midland Park, that should be named after my father. he fed those kids, him and my mother, fed those kids until the day he died. And I asked him this question. I said, Daddy, why are you doing this? He said, if me and Dow don't do it, who else gonna do it? Dow, he named my mother. My mother's name was Leela Odessa William, or Lamar, and then she came William. But my father, his prize was Dow.
So like Doll?
Yes.
Oh, Doll. Oh, if me and Doll don't do it, who gonna do it? Oh, who gonna do it?
Yes.
Who gonna feed the people?
Now look at the interesting contrast. My mother, and my father had the playground, recreational stuff for the kids, and then my mother went to the church, and her and Miss Thomas created this thing called Feed My Sheep.
Oh, wow.
So literally, people was getting fed through the stomach, and then the other was getting fed through recreation.
Through recreation.
And
the soul.
And so when I got to Henry Ford, I was prepared, but I lacked in academics because my focus was on. I was the only child out of 9 to finish high school and finish college, and that was a big thing. And so when I got to my senior year, I realized I had the grades. Okay, so
what happened?
But I'm gonna tell you what changed my mind about college. We played Cody High School. We lost 2-0, and after the game, one of my fellow students, my friend who played on this football team with me.
Okay, so this is football. Okay.
Yeah, football. My teammate. I was trying to find the words. My teammate, and he said, Keith. A scout asked, who was that number 83? That one act said, I didn't know I was going to go to college until that guy said, who was number 83?
Number 83 is up there on that wall.
That's on that wall, number 83.
Number 83 is you.
Yeah, that was me, number 83.
Come on, 83.
Yes. And so that's the uniform I wore in my senior year.
That's awesome.
Okay.
So the scouts saw you,
and
they needed you to be a part of their team.
Well, that's what scouts do. They go out and try to find talent.
Absolutely.
But the deal is, it reassured me that somebody was looking at me.
Right.
And I never thought that would happen, but it did happen. But once I realized that, then the other stuff kicked in, the grades. So I went to my principal. And asked him, can I get early release out of high school? Because I found out Henry Ford Community College would accept me to help me improve my grades. So I went to Henry Ford Community College. And my principal, Mr. Charles Remus, let me come back and graduate while I was going to college.
So you got a double whammy.
Yes, we call it dual enrollment now.
And it's called dual enrollment. And every student, I need all of you all to hear me, everyone K through 12 in the Detroit Public Schools. I need you all to hear that there is a process called dual enrollment in your high school. If you're not aware of it, connect with your counselors, because there is a program available for you where you can actually graduate from high school and also get a college degree. Now, I want to touch back on that. You said that the rush, the spirit of I can do it, the spirit of what your father said, nobody is better than you, kind of flooded you to where you believed in yourself to be able to finish school. Because at first you weren't going to go. You weren't going to finish
my
school.
trajectory was from high school to the plant.
Yeah. So, but then it was like, okay, when someone saw you, when someone was paying attention, you felt that. Someone.
It triggered something.
Yes.
It triggered. I can.
It triggered. I can, and that's what a lot of us. That's what all of us need. We need our parents. We need our mentors. We need our supporters, family members, neighbors, counselors to say, I see you. The engagement is so important. Communication is so important, and
But
you got it.
Bobby Kennedy had this quote, and it has stuck with me all of my life. Some people see things as they are and ask why. I dream of things that never were and say, why not?
There you go. Why not?
Why not?
not be your best?
Yeah, why not be a doctor?
Why
Why not be a lawyer? Why not be the king? Why not be president? We always find ways not to say why not. And Bobby Kennedy eloquently said, I dream of things that never were and said, why not?
You know what, Keith? I think that most of us are so used to someone telling us what to do. They don't have the mindset to say, why not? They have the mindset, can I?
Right.
They have the mindset of always asking. There's nothing wrong with asking a question when you're already in something, when you're already doing what you love to do. Then you can ask for follow up, like, okay, well, how do I do better? But the goal is to start.
Gotta start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere.
You know?
So, from you moving into Henry Ford, being number 83, being scouted, graduating, then graduating again. So you first graduated from where?
Henry Ford High School.
And then you graduated from college.
I went, and it was so unique.
It was like, but it was like
it was so unique about
because it sounded like you graduated from college first, then you went back to high school. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Well, I had got an early release.
Right.
He allowed me to go to college. Okay, to get my grades up. But what's interesting, when I was at Henry Ford Community College, when I came back to Henry Ford, I get the day of graduation, I graduated. And then I was still enrolled at Henry Ford Community College while I was graduating from high school. But what happened is when I was at Henry Ford Community College, my grades went from 1.5 to 2.7.
Wow.
And so then I went to, that's what I did. I went to the counselor at Henry Ford Community College. I said, I've been recruited by Eastern Michigan to play football. He said, Keith, we're going to make a recommendation that you so you can go to Eastern Michigan University. And I got enrolled. It was just God's plan.
Everything was just moving in alignment, right, because you didn't give up on yourself.
Right.
Now, what I would like to commend you on is that you found something that you were interested in, which was football. That was something that inspired
Baseball
you.
was my family's tree, and I ran track. My first track meet was 1965 at Cobo Hall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cobo Hall. Remember Cobo Hall, y'all?
Yeah. And then football was the third rail of my sports experience.
Okay, so hold that thought.
Right.
We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to hear more about Cobo Hall and all of the fun that Keith was having going into his journey. We'll be back. I'm so excited. This is so cool. Your story is amazing.
But
Clean up on aisle 5. Sounds like my life right now. Just one big mess.
What's going on?
It's my property taxes.
What?
I am behind, and I am so worried that I'm going to lose my house. I can pay some of it, but I can't pay it all at once.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm Eric Sabri, the Wayne County Treasurer. The last thing I want is for anyone to lose their property to tax foreclosure. We have assistance programs to help. Visit us at treasurer.waynecounty.com, and we'll help you keep your home.
Oh, we're back. We have Mr. Keith Williams, the owner of Courageous Detroit Network, in the building. We have been discussing life journeys and expressions and joys and harmonies. Harmonies does not necessarily mean it has to be always happy. Harmonies intertwine. He's going into a process of his journey now that we're elaborating on, talking about some things that are going on today. Keith, I really want to emphasize, what do you have coming up? You have one special project that just got released, but what do you have coming up first?
The goodness of God just catapulted my book into the Detroit Public Schools, Obstacles Conquered. And
Obstacles Conquered.
that has now given me access to the children who need it the most. And so that's one thing that's starting right now. The second thing is on June the 23rd, 21st, we had to change the fundraising because it's a lot of things going on. But that's going to be our first annual fundraiser. You know, people, purpose, and power. You know, and then from there, July 12th and 13th is the Courageous Games. It's my Olympic-style games that I started 4 years ago to say, you know, why do we have to wait to AAUs and the Olympics when we can do something for the kids right here and now?
Yes.
And so it's been very, you know, Channel 2 came out a couple of years ago, and it has done tremendously, bringing kids together from all races and all creeds and colors to compete. And we get like 5,000 to 10,000 spectators for a weekend. Wayne State is a beautiful campus in the summertime.
So did you all hear this? This is the Courageous Games. And this is Olympic-style games that Courageous Detroit Network puts together down at Wayne State University. If you all are very familiar with WSU, I am an alumni as well. I love that Keith is putting this together. The team, we're making it happen for the city of Detroit and the children in the area. What type of games are actually?
The games consist of swimming, girls softball, big guy, men's baseball, basketball, track and field, and that's it.
Okay.
And next year I had volleyball, but it's a wonderful event. The weather is beautiful. I never had a bad game from a weather standpoint.
Wow.
And so it's food. It's the atmosphere. So I want to hype it up some more.
Absolutely.
It needs to be hyped up, press releases and all that other stuff. And then I want to add another component. Detroit has never had a track and field hall of fame. We had the track old time, which your grandfather used to be president of it, and then I became president of it. We need to highlight our history as well as our future. You know, from Eddie Tolan to Henry Carr, Marshall Dale, to the young folk now. I don't know the name. I'm at the track meets, but I don't know the name. Because back in my day, one guy can matriculate through the whole process like a Marshall Dale or a Stan Vincent or somebody, or Randy Williams. But I want to do that. Then after that is over with, then we do Soul Days. Soul Days started in 1967 with Clarence Pee Wee Harris. And it was a cultural kind of thing. It was a relationship between Motown and Northwestern, because Otis Williams came from Northwestern.
Nice.
There's a lot of prominent people came out of Northwestern. And so with that, it was, it lay dormant in 2008. Then I was at the gym with a guy named Big C and his brother Billy Ayler, and I said to them, I want to do something called the Day of Soul. And they said, well, I'm going to take you to the man who did it, who started it. I went by his house. This guy had a museum and stuff.
Wow.
And he said to me, it's yours now, do something with it.
So now you have Soul Day.
Soul Day.
And that's when?
That's July 26th.
So you got these dates down? We have June 21st is the fundraiser. Now we need money to help fund all of these processes, okay?
Right.
So make sure you are rocking it out. You put in your calendar June 21st for the Courageous Detroit Network fundraiser. And then we have Olympic Games. So Courageous Games on July 12th and 13th down at Wayne State University. Okay? And then we're moving into Soul Day on July 26th.
And then August 23rd, we're doing Oakland County Soul Fest.
Now, Soul Day
The twin event. I couldn't use Soul Day Oakland County because that would offended the Northwestern family.
Okay.
So I changed the name Oakland County Soul Fest.
Okay, so Soul Day will be where?
At Northwestern High School.
At Northwestern High School.
At the practice field like it's been for the last 4 years.
And it has always been an amazing turnout. You all do not want to miss the fun and games that's going to happen on that day. Soul Day brings the best music, food, fun, excitement. We want to rock it out. Be there. Don't be square. Just be there. We're going to be there.
And then Oakland County Soul Fest is going to be at Callaway Park in Pontiac.
And Oakland County Soul Fest. Say it where it's going to be again.
Callaway Park in
Callaway
Pontiac.
Park in Pontiac, Michigan.
And then we got Soul Village, where we're going to start every Sunday from 5 to 9, barbecue, ribs, barbecue, and jazz or blues.
So we got Soul Day, Soul Fest, Soul.
Everything
Everybody
soul.
food just soul.
We're not getting away
Everybody
from our
food just
history.
Soul. Right here on Courageous Detroit and the Courageous Detroit Network community. We have it all. We are rocking it. We are rocking it daily. Okay. So tell us, we're going to close, in a moment, but I want you to really emphasize about what's going on with Obstacles Conquered.
Obstacles Conquered is about my obstacles. Every black young man in this history of this country gonna go through a black man obstacle course. And the obstacle course is from childhood to maturity. And along that journey, you're gonna deal with stuff. Poverty. You may deal with poverty. You may deal with violence. You may deal with all of that. I just dealt with a young man trying to be somebody, trying to make it through those obstacles that was in front of me. But I had a father and a mother that loved me unconditionally. But still, I wanted just like anybody else. I watched my brother Dennis die in my mother's arms at the house of measles. And measles now is coming back. And then bad grades and all of that stuff. I had to overcome all of that. And then I had to want to be somebody too. I had to overcome that bullying and all that other stuff. I went through the whole gambit, but in my later life, I done had cancer. I had prostate cancer in 2010. I found a tumor in my chest in 2022. It's not multiple myeloma, it's called plasmacytomas. And then I'm dealing with high blood pressure and all of that. I'm going to get through this. Okay.
We're going to get through it.
We're going to get through this because God is not ready to tell me, that, well done, my good and faithful servant.
He's going to tell you while you're walking.
Yes, he's going to tell me while I'm walking.
Because he's already telling you.
He's already telling me that. So, the obstacles, we're getting ready to do an obstacle course for kids because every kid should have their own obstacle course portfolio.
Okay.
They need to start journalizing, to get a journal and start saying what is happening to me, good or bad, and journal it throughout their history. So, and then they create their own obstacle course.
See, this is what the man with the hat does.
Yes.
This is what the man with the hat does. I'm so honored and proud of this gentleman here. We want you to call in if you have any questions for Mr. Williams. We're going to close in a few. The number to the studio is 313-573-8689. Again, 313-573-8689 to talk to the man with the hat. We appreciate.
I love my Dobbs. I love my Stetsons.
Yes.
If you want to get a book, you got to go to Amazon.
Get your book on Amazon.com. How much is the book?
$20.
$20. That's a chicken dinner.
$20.
That's a fish dinner. You could take that $20 and invest in your future to see how well you can become or how you can inspire someone else. That's what we want to do. That's how we move. Okay? But I'm just honored to listen to your story and move. And I love what Keith said. I wanted it. I wanted to go and get it. And so I did.
Yeah.
And that's all you have to do. If you put it in your mind to do so, you can be and become whoever you want to be and become.
So as you think and so as you believe.
As a man thinketh, so is he.
Yeah.
Very clear.
Yeah.
It's very clear.
And to me, there's a story about the frog and the seagull.
Okay.
The frog lived in a well, and all he knew was a well. Every time he only came out when he was trying to get some fresh air. And then the seagull saw him one day and said this to him: "You need to come go with me, because I see a vast ocean of everything." The moral to the story is the frog didn't want to do anything different but go to that well. And the seagull just want to fly and see what everything he could see. Because his possibilities was open. The frog's possibility was closed.
Closed, yeah.
Yeah.
Frog was closed-minded. The
Yeah.
eagle was open.
Yeah.
Open-minded.
Seagull was open-minded.
Yeah. Yeah, and you got to be. And that taught you faith. That teaches you faith. So, thank you.
You can call me at 313-215-4121. And my email is courageous_inc@yahoo.com.
Very good. Thank you all so much. You heard it from the man yourself, and his self is saying to you, call me. His line is open. Okay? Thank you all ever so kindly for joining the show. You are watching Courageous Detroit Network with Small Spaces in the living room with LadyLove with Mr. Keith Williams.
God
Take
bless
care, everyone, and have a good evening.
Thank you. I think
Hi, I'm the tax lady. Do you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS? Then listen carefully. You may be able to pay the IRS less and save thousands of dollars because right now there are special government tax programs for people like you who owe the IRS. We can even help you if you have unfiled tax returns. And if you qualify, you'll pay less money to the IRS or state. Stop worrying about wage garnishments and bank levies and call the number on the screen right now for a free tax review. We know what you're going through. We help good people like you every day pay the IRS or state less taxes all the time. If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, call now for your free, no-obligation consultation with a tax professional. Don't fight the IRS alone. Call the Tax Ladies team today.
Call the tax lady at 855-325-1720.